to the Roses Are Red podcast with your host, Mrs. Red Rose, and co host, Bree Talks.
Welcome.
Hola,
Trying to
hola.
figure out where all this stuff is,
Right.
How's everything going? It's been a while. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I had to do a trip to Texas, which was very interesting, and boy, was it hot.
Was
Hot,
it?
hot. And where my brother lives, he's down the street from it's called the Swans Manor. And
Okay.
apparently it's one of the most haunted hotels that Beggins did a series there.
Oh,
And we drove by it. My brother was like, "Phew, yeah, we're not stopping by there." He's like, "I'm not bringing friends home."
that's funny.
I was like, "Come on, let's go check it out and bring some friends home." He's like, "No." So
He's like,
I
no,
was-
thank you.
he's like, "Yeah, no thanks." Still is definitely interesting, but definitely um a hot adventure that yeah, no, not again.
He's like, no, no, thank you. Mm-mm.
Not anytime in the future right now. It was 104.
Oh, girl, that's Vegas weather.
Yeah. But one thing I must say, I'm very disappointed in I went to go visit the Selena monument, right? Because she
Okay.
was killed and and I went to go check it out. I was thinking that they were going because she did bring the family a lot of money, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, no, it was pretty sad. It there was nothing there. It's just a statue and a plaque and that's it. Like there's no flowers, no candles, no.
Really?
I was very sad and disappointed. I was like, "Wow." And there wasn't people there. It was just maybe like 2 or 3. I'm thinking like you go here to, Seaport Village and you see all the little knickknacks and stuff, people selling things. That's what I was thinking, but no, wasn't like that. So I was kind of sad, disappointed.
Mm-hmm.
All my hopes and dreams went out the door.
Yeah, it's sad. I don't think she did. Unfortunately, they didn't keep up with it. And there is people that know her, but I don't. She didn't quite hit where she should have hit it at the time because she was so quickly taken from us.
Yeah. And I figured that maybe um then I went to her burial site and I was thinking, okay, well maybe they've done something here. I mean,
Mhm.
granted there is some flowers there, but I was expecting
More.
real flowers and
Mhm.
you know, or something big and grand,
Mhm.
like our artist is here. No, it's just a small little thing. I was like, oh, I was kind of bummed. I was like, yeah, hopes and dreams are, because the person who killed her, I forget her name. She's not really relevant, but
Mhm.
they killed her. She got denied parole, so
Oh, she
she's not.
did.
Yeah, she did get denied.
Oh, okay.
But you know what? Let's be honest. Do you really think she was going to make it out here alive?
No. Mm-mm.
She might be safer where she's at now. You know.
Yeah. 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 I agree with that.
You know.
Wow, I didn't know she got the nine.
Yeah, I've been kind of keeping an eye on it, so I was like, interesting. Well,
Ah.
but anyways, did you have a good week?
Yes, I did. Very productive week. Got everything transferred over to the new state that I'm in for the moment. So, got all the paperwork done. Um,
Yay!
went live a couple of times. Started the whole. I've been just been whoring myself.
I don't know if that's a
That's
good
for
thing or
my.
a bad thing.
I've been whoring myself, and no, it's been good. It's been really good. I've been shouting us out, shouting myself out, and you know what's so interesting? And I thought about this the other day. Um, it's what I was doing and what I've been doing had nothing to do with what my content is. So I was like, they just want me for me.
'Cause we love you.
I'm like, it's not, you know what I mean? But it's fun because it just shows the diversity. It shows my diversity. So it's fun. And I meet new people.
Yeah,
So I love
definitely,
that.
which is awesome.
Yeah.
So we've got an interesting story that Bree brought to the table, and want to welcome all listeners, all new listeners. If you're new here,
Mm-hmm.
subscribe, listen, give us your opinions. I have a couple notes here and gonna, I need to get a light here, a brighter light in here because I feel like I'm getting older and I'm like,
Right.
you know, but welcome everyone to another episode of the Roses Are Red podcast. Tonight, we will be talking about the Gil Gilgo Beach Murders. Did I say that correctly?
That sounds about right. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Um, this was in an investigation that was crazy. Um, there's a lot to it that I was kind of disappointed in a way because of the way how it was handled.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so, the approaching of the victims, the avoiding a lot of actual fact evidence is how I felt. And there is a documentary on Netflix
Mm-hmm.
that you can watch. Um, I think the documentary on Netflix was my opinion. This is my opinion. Um, I think I think it was kind of dry.
Okay.
Have you ever had stories they're kind of dry where like oh put I don't want to say put you to sleep, but it just kind of like you just can't catch doesn't catch my attention.
Right.
So I did some footwork and stuff about this young lady that was the people were looking for her. Because of her, it's the reason why this story went. And let me go ahead and pull this up real quick so we
Mm-hmm.
can go through our notes here. There we go. There we go. All right. This was a series of murders in Long Island, New York between 1993 and 2010. The case gained national attention in late 2010
Mm-hmm.
and 2011. When the police researching for a missing woman, Shannon Gilbert,
Mm-hmm.
discovered the remains of 10 victims along Ocean Parkway near Gilgo Beach and in nearby areas of Suffolk. Did I say that correctly?
I think so.
Um, Nashua County.
Mm-hmm.
For the victims, Melissa Berthlem, I apologize for butchering these last names. Um, so I don't know if you could see that.
I can see a little bit. I can't. There's no way I would be able to read it.
Okay.
Too small for me.
I know,
Too
right?
small for me.
Right?
I'm going in blind, guys. My laptop's not working. Normally I got my stuff, but I'm gonna have to work with it. We're working with it.
We're working with it tonight, all right? Were found dead in 2010 in close proximity and became known as the Gilgo 4. 6 additional sets of remains were located in March and in April 2011, several of which were later connected to an earlier unsolved case.
Right.
So this is an interesting story because if it wasn't for the family, I'm kind of assuming, right? If it wasn't for the family that brought this up,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they would ever even looked for her.
No, and I don't think they would have put the cases together.
Yeah,
they would. I don't. Mm-mm. I don't think they would have looked for her either.
So, from my understanding, from what I saw in the documentary and from my research, she wasn't a bad person.
Mm-mm.
She wasn't an outgoing person. She wasn't, she was young, from my understanding, correct?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Let's see. 11 plus victims, which is a lot of victims to, to find. So Ocean Parkway Road, where 10 of 11 bodies linked to the Gilgo Beach series killer were found buried. So I'm kind of curious where the Gilgo name came from.
It might have been just the name of the beach in the area.
Okay.
Like they have like Pacific Beach, Silver Strand, like that. I think that's
Yeah.
what it is. Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's what I was trying to figure out, like, where did this, Gilligo Gilligo, very interesting name to say.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so, so what surprised you most about the beginning of this case?
For me, it was the amount of women. Like that's a lot. That's a large number. I mean, one is obviously too many, right? But we're talking 11.
Yeah,
It's a
we're talking
large number.
11. And
Yeah.
11 that they know of, I mean, it could have been more from what we
Right.
know, right?
Yeah, exactly. And then it was, I believe, Rhode Island, right? So
Yeah.
that's a small area. That's not
I've
very
never
big.
I've never been, so I couldn't even tell you.
Yeah, that's not very big at all. It's small.
So so the beach of Long Island, the research for the missing woman, um, that led authorities into the area and discovered multiple sets of remains explains how the case um, got involved, right? It got
Hmm.
bigger because of this, but it was because of, I believe it was her best friend that was like, no, she's still alive, she's somewhere. Um,
Yeah, they would. She wouldn't let go of it. Like they, I don't, and I think you're right. I don't think they would have pursued it had it not been for her and the family.
and she just went missing. I think she was going to get food, or do you remember how she went missing by any chance? Because I don't remember that part.
I know she went. She went. I don't know if it was food or to the store. And they were expecting her back, but she didn't come back.
Okay, yeah, and then she just disappeared. Um, but something was left behind, and I think it was her keys and her purse and her cell
Hmm.
phone was left behind, and she was gone. Like, and so one of her friends was like, "No, this is not normal.
Hmm.
Uh, she's missing. Like, we
Yeah,
need to
like she
find
had
her."
vanished. Like out of dinner, she didn't take any of her personal belongings. That's what it was too.
Yeah. So, and the thing that I was kind of disappointed is that they didn't want to help her friend find her because they
Hmm.
thought that she was a prostitute.
Hmm.
Um, which I thought that was really sad because at the end of the day, these still it's a human. It's still, regardless what they do is their profession, if that's what they
Right.
choose, hey, but it's still a human. Like they didn't want to even
Hmm.
they didn't want to pursue it.
No, it was like, and it's interesting because yes, obviously that type of profession, um, it's not a good one, right? And it unfortunately puts you in predicaments that you probably otherwise wouldn't be in, and it's very dangerous, that type of profession, right?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, they're still humans. They still deserve to live a long life. Did they make bad choices? Probably, right? To do that. But that still doesn't warrant them being, removed from the face of the earth. You know what I mean? It still doesn't warrant them being hurt or harmed. Like a lot of these people, and I just don't say women because men do it too. They do it for reasons, right? They got a habit, they have kids, they have, they need to make money. Like it's unfortunate, but still, like it doesn't warrant them being hurt for it. And there's a clientele for it. Let's keep it out there, right? People are purchasing it.
Well,
Supply
and
and demand.
right. I mean, at the end of the day, it's their profession.
Yeah, it is. Whether we
I mean,
agree with it or not, it is.
if they could, tax it, I'm pretty sure they would. And or I'm
And
just
in
saying,
Vegas, in Las Vegas, it's legal.
yeah, it
So,
is.
hmm,
It is legal in Las Vegas, and so you would, like I said, at the end of the day, it is a person, it is a daughter, it
yep,
is could be a
yep,
mom, could be a sister. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it's still a person that
absolutely.
um that breathes, eats, walks, talks, um, regardless. But this young lady that we're talking
Mhm.
about, she was not. She was
No.
not that. She was her name was, again, let me go back up. Shannon was not
Mm-mm.
a lady of the night is usually what I call them, is ladies of the night.
Mhm.
Some people call them differently. I call them ladies of the night because they work at night, you
Yeah,
know?
pretty much.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But they're still human beings and they deserve the respect regardless whether we agree or not or something.
Right.
I mean, who are we to judge?
Exactly.
You know, they're making a living, we make a living. Um, you know, everybody does what they do.
Mhm.
That was the one thing that just kind of I was just really disappointed in the way that they handled this whole case because they really didn't want to put effort or even find anything remotely that, hey, uh, this is a human, you know,
Mhm.
and her friend was like, okay, we got to keep looking. So, um, so let me pull this up here. Let's see. Gilbert's disappearance was in May of 2010.
Mhm.
Prompt. Wait, did I get ahead of myself? Which normally sometimes I do. Please bear with me.
It happens.
It happens. It's one of those days today.
Right.
Oh my God. Let's see. 6 additional sets of remains were located in March and in April 2011, several of which were later connected to an earlier unsolved case. So here's my question. Why do you think some of these cases take so long to find, I mean, this is pretty a long time.
Well, I mean, in this particular case, it's clear that if for some reason they felt that it was, ladies of the night or someone who was like a derelict or something missing, they weren't putting as much effort as if it was just some person who was, an accountant or a lawyer. You know what I mean? The officers were not putting as much effort. It's clear, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's why this specific case, I can't say for all, but I think that's why this one didn't get as much traction as it should have, because unfortunately they deemed it maybe no one's going to miss these people. It's sad, but it's unfortunate. No one's going to miss these people. They're night walkers, they're hookers, whatever you want to call them. There's other things, there's other people. And I think it's sad because look how many there was. We're
A
not
lot.
talking, I mean, one is too many, but shit, that's 11. You know what I
Well,
mean? That they know of.
but the thing that my question was through this whole thing is where why did they think that she was a lady of the night?
That's a good one. I don't know.
What?
Was it with the way she was dressed?
Because it
Maybe.
just went, they didn't uh it wasn't like how do I want to say it? Um for as far as from her friend, she was like advocate about saying, look, that's not what she does, that's not her profession, blah blah blah.
Mhm.
So I was very curious that all of a sudden they went to that whole thing.
Did they deem her promiscuous, maybe? I mean, you do have people who think that if you're promiscuous, then you're, a lady of the night. Or did she have connections with people that, did she get money from some men? Because, you know, that
Yeah.
could happen too. She could be dating men and gotten money from them, and, she may not be street walking, but it's still kind of considered. So they could look at her like that. So I'm not sure.
So let me see if I can find here a clip.
I mean, not that that makes anything okay about it. I mean, they obviously judged her. They prejudged her, and because of it, I don't think nothing lit a fire underneath them, and it's sad that it
Here's
took
a
so long.
clip. Here's a clip on Peacock that they had um about this story. This was what intrigued me to watch it um
Mhm.
because of this clip here.
The question everyone keeps asking is, how could you not know?
The Gilgo 4 was one of America's longest serial killer cold cases. After 13 years, this bombshell drops.
Rex Heuermann, architect, father, husband.
He basically was the person that lived next door.
He was a monster, living a double life. One person saying this, one person saying that, but my memory says this.
There's so much evidence against you. I don't even believe you, and you're my best friend. Convince me, give me something. Did you do it?
Rex Heuermann insists through his lawyer that he's innocent.
Is it possible that family ever suspected that something was off about this guy?
The most mysterious figure is Rex's wife.
The investigator says to me, "Have you heard about the murders on Gilgo Beach?" "I've heard of them."
The idea that the wife didn't know anything is hard to believe.
Does everybody really believe everything they hear?
Hello.
How you doing? I'm doing great. Now that I've got you on the phone.
So that's a good question she asked. Does everybody believe everything you hear? Do we?
I think people do. They quickly prejudge people. I think they get like these keywords and they just boom without seeing. I mean, it's like right now you can put up a portion of a video, not the beginning, not the end, but just the center, and you can basically show a narrative that really isn't true. And people will believe that without really logically saying, let me look at the whole thing. You can kind of control the narrative of what people will believe and not. And some people are gullible like that. They're lazy.
Yeah.
They don't want to look into it. Or they're quick to just judge people. They have their own preconceptions of things. And so when it triggers that, they just, like the whole thing with the girl, them thinking that she was, a lady of the night and not really doing much with it. That's a preconceived notion. Because I wouldn't, to me personally, I would react as if she was anyone else. But you had people who didn't, and they were in, positions that they should have.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. And so I've got another video clip here, and it's actually let me get it to the beginning here. It actually shows the young ladies. If I can get back to where I was, that would be great. And he shows the young ladies that were unfortunately that he took their lives. Let me see here. For some reason things are acting a little funny on my side.
Well, it's not the retrograde. It's over.
It's friends that I took home.
Right.
Be taking friends home.
We'll be taking friends.
Okay, here we go. Got it. Okay, here we go. And boom. There we go.
Investigators had recovered the remains of multiple people. Families finally knew where their loved ones were. America wanted answers. It seemed impossible that whoever had done this could remain free, but they did. Not for weeks, not for months, for more than 12 years. How could one of the biggest homicide investigations in modern American history go cold? The answer isn't simple. It involves missed opportunities, changing leadership, a police department under intense scrutiny, and evidence that wouldn't make sense until years later. Following the discoveries along Ocean Parkway, Suffolk County Police established one of the largest homicide investigations in the department's history. Detectives faced an enormous task. They weren't investigating one disappearance. They were investigating years of missing persons reports spread across multiple states. Victims had disappeared from New York, Connecticut, Maine, New Jersey. Some remains had been discovered years apart. Others had been moved after death. Every clue had to be re-examined, every witness re-interviewed, every phone record reviewed. The scale of the investigation was unlike anything many detectives had experienced. One piece of evidence stood out: the calls made to the family of Melissa Barthelemy after her disappearance. Investigators traced those calls to locations in New York City. The caller appeared to move between different areas. But in 2009 and 2010, mobile phone technology wasn't nearly as precise as it is today. Detectives could narrow the locations. They couldn't identify the person holding the phone. The lead remained frustratingly incomplete. There wasn't one crime scene. There were many. There wasn't one police agency. There were several. Victims had disappeared years apart. Evidence had deteriorated. Witness memories faded. Technology available in 2010 couldn't do what modern forensic science can today. Each challenge made the investigation slower, more complicated, and increasingly frustrating for everyone involved. As the investigation continued, leadership within Suffolk County Police changed. Different detectives, different
So that was really interesting because they had one case, right? And then it went to another case. A whole other team came in, and it changed like a couple times, from my understanding, correct?
Right. And then you had people who were quitting or going to different positions. So it's like the file was being given to different people and nobody was really taking ownership or possession of it.
Yeah.
What up, Crystal?
Hello, hello.
What
Creative Minds Empire, welcome.
What it do?
So that was an interesting part to hear, because in the documentary it does talk about how it's changed from one desk to another desk to another, and it just kept going, but there wasn't no they just, because they thought it was the ladies of the nights, it was just thrown like, okay,
Yeah, it wasn't president. It wasn't put, it didn't take priority over anything. They just kept taking it. Oh, here, I got this for you, or oh, I got a new promotion, but these are the cases, and it's like piled on top of piled on top of pile. So almost what, over a decade before it was solved.
which is really sad.
Yeah,
we'll keep going with.
And it goes all because they had a preconceived notion with, unfortunately, the ones that were missing.
Yeah, and that's really sad. Really sad. We'll keep going with this one here. There's like 3 more minutes to this.
Okay.
Supervisors, different priorities. Each transition meant new people reviewing thousands of pages of reports. While fresh perspectives can help an investigation, they can also slow momentum. Families began asking difficult questions. Why wasn't anyone being arrested? Was something being missed? At the same time, Suffolk County Police became embroiled in controversies unrelated to the Gilgo Beach murders. Public confidence began to erode. Among the most significant controversies involved former police chief James Burke. In 2015, Burke pleaded guilty in federal court to violating the civil rights of a man who had stolen items from his vehicle and to participating in a cover-up of the assault. Those offenses were not related to the Gilgo Beach murders. However, the scandal had a profound impact on public trust in the department. There were also long-standing questions from journalists, victims' families, and oversight bodies about whether internal problems within the department affected the pace and direction of the Gilgo Beach investigation. It's important to distinguish those concerns from proven fact. While critics argued the investigation suffered from leadership issues, there has been no court finding that those issues caused the murders to remain unsolved. While investigators continued their work, the victims' families refused to let the case disappear. They gave interviews, held vigils, spoke to journalists, pressed officials for answers. For them, this wasn't just another unsolved case. It was their daughter, their sister, their mother. Every year without answers was another year without justice. Although there was no arrest, the investigation never officially stopped. Evidence continued to be preserved. New forensic techniques emerged. DNA science improved. Cell site analysis became more sophisticated. Investigators periodically revisited old evidence. hoping advances in technology would reveal something earlier detectives couldn't see. That breakthrough finally came in 2022, when a newly formed task force decided to begin again, not from scratch, but from the evidence. For more than a decade, the person investigators suspected remained hidden in plain sight. Then a new team looked at the same evidence, with fresh eyes. What they found would change everything. In Part 6, we'll examine the formation of the Gilgo Beach Task Force. And
Which, that is crazy to me.
It's what's even scarier is that he had a whole life. He had kids, he had a family, and it did make me wonder, like, how did the wife not know? But I've been doing this and, learning more enough about this that they know one of the things that they do is they live a double life. Like, they say they're doing something. And I know personally someone who's lived a double life. It was not anything having to do like this, murder, but very similar in the aspect that there was a crime that was committed and the partner didn't know for about a good year until that person was actually caught. So yeah, I know for a fact people can live double lives.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we saw it on Serial.
Yeah, it's very creative. It's a creative way of being, and I think it's exhausting if you ask me.
Yeah. I couldn't, I couldn't sit there and do a double live. It's one way or another. But it happens. It does. And more than what people think.
Yeah, I couldn't do it either, girl. I don't remember what I ate for breakfast this morning. Like, I can't keep track of my meals, let alone my lives.
Right.
I can't do it. So, and then I know it's going to sound sad, but it takes a real skill to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Because that's a lot, And this guy, he was like, he didn't flinch. He was living in the same place, doing whatever he was doing. Nobody even expected him.
No.
They didn't.
We'll go down a couple of these. This creator, he's on TikTok. You guys can find him there. The Sinister's stories. He really does a really good deep dive on these clips about it. Here's this is one of the girls. So I'll go ahead and play it here. We turn on the sound here.
Instead, they stumbled upon one of the largest homicide investigations in American history. Within days, 4 sets of human remains would be found. Within months, that number would grow.
Actually, you know what? Give me 1 second. Let me find the beginning of it.
When the trial ended, the Conca family...
No, that's not it. Let me find part 1 here.
4 women disappeared.
Yeah, this is part 1. Okay. I'll do this one right here, and we'll go
for years. Their families searched, pleaded, and waited for answers. Police departments filed reports. Missing person posters faded in shop windows. Tips came in, then dried up. Life moved on for everyone else. But for their loved ones, time stopped. Years later,
oh shoot, sorry, my bad.
Their remains would be discovered less than a mile apart along a remote stretch of Long Island coastline. The discovery would become one of the most infamous serial killer investigations in American history. But before they became known as the Gilgo Four, they were daughters, friends, mothers, and people who deserved to come home. The first woman we need to talk about is 25-year-old Maureen Brainerd Barnes. Maureen grew up in Connecticut. Friends described her as funny, outgoing, and fiercely devoted to her family. Most importantly, she was a mother. Like many people, Maureen struggled financially at different points in her life. Wanting to support herself and her young daughter, she became involved in escort work. Those who knew her say she constantly talked about building a better future. She wasn't somebody who had given up. She was trying to survive. In July 2007, she traveled to New York for work. Then she vanished. At first, her family believed she would eventually call. She always had before. Days passed, then weeks. Eventually, they realized something was terribly wrong. Next was 24-year-old Melissa Barthelemy. Melissa was originally from New York. Family members described her as independent, determined, and deeply loved by those around her. She had dreams and ambitions beyond the circumstances she found herself in. Like Maureen, she sometimes used escort work to earn money. In July 2009, Melissa disappeared after meeting a client. Her family immediately became concerned. Then something disturbing happened. Over the weeks that followed, Melissa's younger sister received a series of phone calls. The caller reportedly taunted and mocked the family. The calls appeared designed to cause pain. Investigators would later consider them among the most chilling aspects of the entire case. For Melissa's loved ones, every ringing phone became a source of dread. 22-year-old Megan Waterman was from Maine. Friends remembered her as warm, caring, and devoted to her young daughter. Like the other women, she faced financial challenges. She traveled to Long Island during June 2010. Then contact stopped. Her family knew something was wrong almost immediately. Megan was close to those she loved. Disappearing without explanation simply wasn't like her. As days became weeks, hope slowly turned into fear. A daughter was waiting for her mother to return. She never did. The fourth woman was Amber Lynn Costello. Amber grew up on Long Island. People who knew her described someone with a sharp sense of humor and a close connection to family. She had experienced addiction struggles, but was actively trying to rebuild her life. Those closest to her believed she was making progress. In September 2010, Amber left to meet a client. She never returned. Unlike the others, there would later be witnesses who described seeing events shortly before she disappeared. Those accounts would become enormously important years later. But at the time, Amber simply became another missing woman. Another family searching for answers. Another life left hanging in uncertainty. By late 20...
It seems like they all struggled in something, right?
They all had like a connection where they were kind of struggling in life and trying to rebuild something, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're at a low point.
A low point. We'll keep going on this one.
2010, 4 women were missing. They lived different lives. They came from different places. They're evidence. And nobody yet understood that these disappearances might be connected. There was no Gilgo Beach case, no national headlines, no serial killer investigation. Just 4 families desperately trying to find the women they loved. The answers were waiting, hidden beside an isolated road on Long Island. And within months, a routine search would uncover something that would shock America. In the next part, we'll follow the final known movements of these 4 women and examine the
it's crazy to me because they all look so young. So
and
young.
they're different too. So it's not like he had a preference. They were blonde hair, dark hair, you know what I mean? Blue eyes, dark eyes. His thing was he chose who he thought no one was gonna miss. The less fortunate. The less those that were gonna be overlooked. That's what it was that he chose.
Which is just crazy. Like I said, the Sinister Dot Stories 42. Go check him out. He's on TikTok and he does a pretty big deep dive on this story. He's very thorough on what he says and how he describes everything. Which is sad. Like I said, this is sad because they were just like what he says, you know, it was someone's mom, someone's friend, someone's daughter, someone, you know, which is
well, what I found to be interesting was he said they were call girls. Typically, they go through agents. They go through a call center and people call for them. Hence the word call girl. It's not like they were streetwalkers and they got picked up at a corner. So that's what I found to be interesting too.
That's right.
He kept calling them call girls, and a lot of them were escorts. Escorts are like call girls. They don't call streetwalkers escorts because they get picked up by Johns. Typically, these women have dates. They they're like, hey, looking for a girl 5'10", da 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 da. You got one? So
yeah. Which is It's interesting how he goes into it, but like I said, it's just they all look about the same age. They all look like they're the same age. They all look almost the same. Like if you look at their features, let me bring a picture of them up. They all look the same. They don't look any different. They don't look any besides the hair color.
Right.
You know, blonde hair, straight hair. I mean, there's only
Fair
one curly.
skinned.
Same eyebrows, same eyes.
Right.
So we'll go into this part two of what he talks about here.
Investigators often begin with one question: what happened during the final hours? For the four women who would later become known as the Gilgo Four, that question would haunt detectives for years. Each disappearance occurred separately, different dates, different locations, different circumstances. Yet hidden within those final movements were clues that would eventually connect all four cases. Today, we're reconstructing the last known days of four women who disappeared without a trace. Maureen Brainerd Barnes traveled from Connecticut to New York in July 2007. At the time, she was working as an escort and had arranged meetings with clients.
See?
On 9th of July 2007, she was staying at a hotel in Manhattan. Family members later reported that she spoke with people close to her and appeared to be carrying on with normal plans. Then communication suddenly stopped. Investigators later determined that her mobile phone continued to show activity after her disappearance. This raised immediate questions. If Maureen was missing, who was using the phone? And why, at the time, however, there were few answers. Only a growing fear that something terrible had happened. 2 years later, another disappearance would occur. Melissa Barthelemy was 24 years old when she vanished. In July 2009, she traveled to meet a client. After that meeting, contact ceased. Her family became alarmed almost immediately. Then came the phone calls. Over several weeks, Melissa's younger sister reportedly received a number of calls from a man believed by investigators to have knowledge of Melissa's fate. Calls were brief, cruel, and deeply unsettling. Investigators later traced the calls to various locations around New York City, but the caller was never identified at the time. For Melissa's family, the calls transformed a missing person case into something far more frightening. Less than a year later, another woman disappeared. Megan Waterman traveled from Maine to Long Island. She checked into a hotel. According to investigators, she left during the early hours after arranging to meet someone. That would be the last confirmed sighting of her. Her family quickly realized something was wrong. Megan was a devoted mother who maintained close contact with relatives. When communication stopped entirely, alarm bells rang. Police launched an investigation. But once again, leads were scarce. It seemed as though Megan had simply vanished. Then came the disappearance that would later provide some of the most significant witness information in the entire case. Amber Lynn Costello was living on Long Island. In September 2010, she arranged to meet a client. People close to Amber later reported seeing a man associated with that appointment. Years later, investigators would revisit those witness accounts in extraordinary detail. At the time, however, nobody knew how important they would become. Amber left and never returned. Like the others, she simply disappeared into a void of unanswered questions. By autumn 2010, investigators in different jurisdictions were handling 4 separate missing person cases. Yet there were similarities. All 4 women had worked as escorts. All had arranged meetings shortly before disappearing. All vanished after contact with clients. And all seemed to disappear without leaving a clear trail. Today, that pattern appears significant. But at the time, there was no certainty, no known crime scene, no suspect, no bodies, only families waiting for answers. The connection remained hidden for just a little longer. On Long Island, another investigation was unfolding. Police were searching for a missing woman named Shanann Gilbert. The search area included a desolate stretch of coastline along Ocean Parkway. What began as a search for one missing person was about to uncover something nobody expected. A police officer and a trained cadaver dog moved through dense brush beside the roadway. Then came a discovery: human remains. Soon another set, then another, then another. Investigators suddenly realized they were not dealing with one disappearance. They were standing at what appeared to be a burial ground. And the names Maureen, Melissa, Megan, and Amber would finally become connected. In part 3, we'll examine.
That is, and they all look the same.
It's interesting because when that one girl went missing and he called, it's almost, he's sadistic. He wanted to hear the pain of the family and the pain he caused. So, yeah, you're dealing with someone that unfortunately he just didn't have any type of remorse whatsoever.
But isn't that crazy though that to me it's like why would you want to hear the family they're already suffering.
Mm-hmm.
You already did your fucking deed. You already why would you want to call them and put them into more traumatize them more?
Controls. He's sadistic. He gets off on pain that he causes people. Sadomasochists are like that. He doesn't like the pain to himself, but he likes causing pains to others, and that's what turns him on. So when he's calling the young sister, saying what he said, and hearing what he hears, that's what's turning him on. He doesn't care who it is. He knows it's a younger person. He can hear the fear, the anguish, and that's what's turning him on because he knows where the girl's at. He knows what he did, and then he's dangling that. They don't know anything. They just know that she's missing.
That's just some sick shit.
It is, and it's sad because you do have people that are like that. These serial killers are like that. They have no remorse. A lot of them are psychopaths. They linger and they wait. Look how long he's been doing it for.
It's so sickening.
Very patient. They're very patient. That's part of being a psychopath. Like, they don't rush. Unlike sociopaths. Sociopaths, I like to call them bar brawls because they're the ones that'll knock you over the head with a glass or something. But psychopaths, they're not like that. They take their time. They're very calculating.
It's just sickening. It's
It is. Both sides, it is.
We'll go into the next clip here. There we go.
Gilgo Beach victims remained undiscovered. Families searched. Investigators followed leads. Nothing brought them closer to answers. Then, in May 2010, a woman made a frantic emergency call. For more than 20 minutes, she told a 911 operator that she was afraid. Hours later, she vanished. Her disappearance would trigger a search. And that search would uncover one of the largest serial murder investigations in American history. But even today, one question remains. What really happened to Shanann Gilbert? Shanann Gilbert was 23 years old. She grew up in New Jersey and was described by family members as intelligent, ambitious, and fiercely independent. Like several of the women later connected to the Gilgo Beach investigation, she worked as an escort. Those close to her say she wanted a better future and hoped to improve her circumstances. On the evening of the 30th of April, 2010, she traveled to Oak Beach, a gated community on Long Island. She had arranged to meet a client. At first, nothing appeared unusual, but within hours, events would spiral into confusion. Shortly after 4 a.m. on the 1st of May, 2010, Shanann called 911. The call reportedly lasted more than 20 minutes. The full recording has never been publicly released. However, accounts from investigators and court proceedings indicate that Shanann repeatedly expressed fear. At various points, she reportedly told the operator, "They're trying to kill me." What exactly she meant remains disputed. What is clear is that she was.
I wonder why they haven't let that evidence out. Because normally I've seen some worse. You know what I mean?
I guess it depends on the 911 center, and I would honestly think because of the fact I think they dropped the ball. They completely dropped the ball with that call, and they don't want it to be publicized. That's what I'm feeling. Because she's on the phone for 20 minutes. You're gonna tell me this is the age of the cell phone. What was it, like 2010? You can still
Yeah.
find her GPS.
We
So
could
you know what I
trace the
mean?
call since what? Since early
Exactly.
2000s, you could have traced the call.
Right.
Pinpoint what
So
cell tower it was at.
at least within a 5-mile radius of the cell tower, right?
Yeah.
So my whole thing is she's sitting for 20 minutes. You know how long 20 minutes is to be on a 911 call? And you didn't get now one officer to find her? They dropped the ball. Sorry, not sorry. They did. They dropped the ball. And you may hear something. At 20 minutes on a 911 call, girl.
That's a
That's
long
a
time.
long time.
It's
That's
a
a
very
long
long time.
time. Yeah. For them not to find her and she still ends up, being missing.
It
So
is
they
insane.
dropped the ball. Yeah, they dropped the
Yeah.
ball, and I don't think they want to take liability for it, but it's clear they did.
Yeah. So keep going on here.
Mm-hmm.
Frightened. After leaving the house where she had been staying, Shanann ran through the neighborhood. Several residents later reported encounters with her. Some attempted to help. Others struggled to understand what was happening. Then she disappeared into the darkness. Witnesses later described seeing Shanann moving through Oak Beach during the early morning hours. According to reports, she knocked on doors seeking assistance. Some residents spoke with her. Others only caught brief glimpses. Eventually, she was seen heading toward a marshy area near Ocean Parkway. After that, the trail went cold. Police launched a missing person investigation. Weeks turned into months. Search teams combed the area. Yet, there was no sign of Shanann. For her family, the uncertainty was devastating. 7 months later, investigators were still looking for Shanann. On the 11th of December 2010, a Suffolk County police officer and a cadaver dog searched along Ocean Parkway. The area was dense with brush and difficult terrain. Then the dog alerted. Investigators discovered human remains. At first, they believed they may have found Shanann. But the remains belonged to someone else. A missing woman named Melissa Barthélemy. The discovery shocked investigators. Then another body was found. And another. And another. Within days, police realized they had uncovered the remains of 4 women. The victims were eventually identified as Melissa Barthélemy, Maureen Brainerd Barnes, Megan Waterman, Amber Lynn Costello. All 4 had disappeared between 2007 and 2010. All had worked as escorts. All had vanished after arranging meetings with clients. Investigators now believed they were looking at a serial offender. The case immediately transformed from a missing person investigation into a national story, and it wasn't over, because more discoveries were coming. Ironically, the woman police had been searching for was still missing. In December 2011, more than a year after she vanished, Shannon's remains were found in marshland near Oak Beach. What happened to her remains one of the most debated aspects of the entire Gilgo Beach case. Some investigators concluded there was no evidence of homicide. Others, including members of her family, questioned that conclusion. To this day, there is no universal agreement about the circumstances of her death. And there is no public evidence linking her disappearance directly to Rex Heuermann. That distinction is important. Fact and speculation are not the same thing. Without Shanann Gilbert's disappearance, the Gilgo Four may not have been found when they were. Her case forced investigators to search an area that had gone largely unnoticed. What they discovered exposed years of unsolved disappearances. Families who had spent years searching finally had answers about where their loved ones were. But they still didn't know who was responsible. That answer would take more than a decade. In Part 4, we'll examine the discovery of...
Yeah, it's interesting because she had a lot of things that were linking her to the other women. She was an escort, which, you know what I mean, that most of them were too, whether it was part-time or full-time, but that's what they did. That's the one thing that linked them all, which, remember I was saying, they have to call in for that. They made appointments. That's not, so they weren't being picked up from the street. So I don't understand why, even with the one girl missing at the time, why aren't you calling the company? Why aren't you calling the call center, finding out who the last John was? You know what I mean?
Unless it was a throwaway phone.
Yeah, and how did he know? How did he know that they were all? He had to have visited. You know what I mean? He had to have. That's not something you readily know. There's a
Yeah.
way you know that these women are doing that.
Well, they call in and then they give a description of what they want, and and then they ask the
Right.
prices and whatever it is. Like
Mhm.
for example, let's say it's like $25 for the first 15 minutes, but an escort is a lot different than a lady of the night. An
Yes.
escort is someone that will go out to dinner with you and be that partner that you want to have. You're just paying for it.
Yeah.
You
It
know,
may not lead into sex. It could just be someone who's with you for the night, for the
yeah,
day. They go to dinner. Yeah, they're literally escorting you somewhere to an event. Not
yeah,
necessarily mean that they're gonna have sex with you.
yeah. I mean, Pretty Woman. She,
Yeah.
be and she was, he had asked her to stay for a whole week to accompany him on all
Yeah.
his parties and his luxuries that just didn't want to go alone.
Yeah.
And that's what escorts do. That's part of their job. Some of them, goes into further detailed activities, but you pay the price for that too. There's a price for everything, you know, um, and that's where the ladies of the night come. Uh, because there's two big differences on when you're an escort to when you are a call girl, I feel.
Yes. And a streetwalker.
Yeah,
There's a big difference for all three of them.
all three
Absolutely.
of them. And when they say you pay what you get for, so just think about it. Starts from the bottom and it goes up the chain. You pay what
Started
you get
from the
for.
bottom, now we're here. No, I'm just kidding. Right.
You
I was a
know,
streetwalker and now I'm an escort. No, I'm just kidding.
right? I mean, hey, anything works sometimes. You're just like,
Hey, you got to climb some type of ladder eventually.
right? So somewhere along the way, we got to get to the top.
Right.
So we'll go into the next clip here.
Mhm.
See what he talks about. Let's see.
Suffolk County Police were not looking for a serial killer. They were looking for one missing woman. Instead, they stumbled upon one of the largest homicide investigations in American history. Within days, 4 sets of human remains would be found. Within months, that number would grow. And as investigators searched mile after mile of Long Island coastline, one terrifying question emerged. How many people had been left here? On the 11th of December 2010, Officer John Malia and his cadaver dog, Blue, were searching along Ocean Parkway for Shanann Gilbert. Blue suddenly alerted. Hidden within dense undergrowth lay human remains. Investigators initially hoped they had found Shanann. Instead, the remains belonged to a woman who had been missing for more than a year. She was later identified as Melissa Barthelemy. The discovery immediately changed the investigation. This wasn't the woman they were searching for. It was someone nobody expected to find. Police immediately expanded the search. Over the next 3 days, they made 3 more discoveries. On the 13th of December, another woman. On the 14th of December, another. Then, another. By the end of the week, investigators had recovered the remains of 4 women: Melissa Barthelemy, Maureen Brainerd Barnes, Megan Waterman, Amber Lynn Costello. All had disappeared between 2007 and 2010. All had worked as escorts. All had vanished after arranging meetings with clients. And all had been placed within a relatively short stretch of Ocean Parkway. For investigators, this was the first indication they could be dealing with a serial offender. Most investigations would have stopped there. This one didn't. Police believe that if someone had chosen this location once, they may have returned again. So in March 2011, investigators expanded the search east and west along Ocean Parkway. What they found made the case even more complicated. Among the newly discovered remains were those belonging to Jessica Taylor. Jessica had disappeared in 2003. Some of her remains had already been found years earlier in Minorville, nearly 45 miles away. Until now, investigators hadn't known where the rest of her body was. The Ocean Parkway discoveries finally answered that question. Years later, prosecutors would charge Rex Heuermann with Jessica's murder. Investigators also recovered remains belonging to Valerie Mack. Like Jessica, Valerie's remains had been discovered in 2 different locations. Some had been found in Maynardville in 2000. Others were recovered during the Gilgo Beach searches. For 2 decades she had no name. Advances in DNA technology finally identified her in 2020. She is also one of the women whose murder prosecutors allege was committed by Rex Heuermann. Another discovery involved a woman known for decades only as Fire Island Jane Doe. In 2023, investigators identified her as Karen Vergata. Karen disappeared in 1996. Some of her remains had been recovered on Fire Island. Others were found during the Gilgo Beach searches. Nearly 27 years passed before investigators could finally tell her family what had happened. In 2024, Rex Heuermann was charged with her murder. One of the most heartbreaking discoveries involved a young mother and her child. For decades, investigators knew the mother only as Peaches because of a tattoo found on her body. Her daughter became known simply as Baby Doe. For almost 30 years, they had no names. Then, in April 2025, investigators announced a breakthrough. The mother was identified as Tanya Denise Jackson. She was 26 years old, a U.S. Army veteran. A mother. Her daughter was identified as Tatiana Marie Dykes. She was only 2 years old. The announcement finally returned their identities. But investigators also made something else very clear. As of today, they have not publicly linked their murders to Rex Heuermann. Their cases remain under active investigation. That distinction is important. One individual recovered during the searches still has no public identity. Known as Asian Doe, investigators believe the victim was a young adult of Asian ancestry who had been assigned male at birth and may have presented as female. No name has yet been released. No murder charge has been announced in connection with this case. Someone, somewhere, may still be waiting for answers. One of the biggest misconceptions surrounding the Gilgo Beach investigation is that every person found along Ocean Parkway was a victim of the same killer. That is not what investigators have publicly stated. As of today, prosecutors have charged Rex Heuermann with the murders of Melissa Barthélemy, Maureen Brainerd Barnes, Megan Waterman, Amber Lynn Costello, Jessica Taylor, Valerie Mack, Karen Vergata. But investigators have not publicly charged him in connection with Tanya Denise Jackson, Tatiana Marie Dykes, Asian Doe. Those investigations remain ongoing. It's a reminder that Gilgo Beach is not one mystery, it's several. By the spring of 2011, police had uncovered one of the most complex homicide investigations in American history. Multiple victims, different years, different locations, evidence spanning decades. And yet, despite everything they had found, the investigation would soon lose momentum. For more than 12 years, the person investigators believed responsible remained free. In Part 5, we'll explore why one of America's biggest
Which is crazy to me.
Mm-hmm.
That this guy was just walking around this whole time.
I don't think he killed those last 2. I don't think he killed that guy, and I don't think he killed the lady with the baby. They don't have anything in common like the other ones. Most serial killers have a pattern, and they don't. There's no other baby. That woman was a veteran, the one with the baby. Also, that was the only man, the Asian one. Even if you presented as a woman or not, it didn't matter. That's the only man. The other ones were women. They were escort. They don't share the same pattern. They don't.
Yeah, that is true.
And I don't even if you were to go to a serial killer, it doesn't have, there's still a trace of some type of pattern there. Whether it's the eye color, they're missing their father. Like there's always their ages. There's always something that connects them. And it's very clear the first 5 and 6 of them, they were call girls. They were escorts rather. The other 2 were not. And I think that's why they made the distinction. Their bodies were found in the same area, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they were killed by the same person, and I don't believe they were.
That's crazy. Because yeah, you know what? Well, I think the baby would throw me off.
Right, the baby threw me off. The lady was a veteran. She was a military veteran. No one else had a career like that. This woman had a career.
Yeah.
The other one was a guy dressed as a woman. Like,
So
that's not, and there was, if they would have said that that person was a call girl or a escort, then I would have believed that, okay, maybe he did it and not realizing that it was a man. I could have believed that, right?
yeah,
But they weren't. They weren't.
very interesting.
So
Let's see if I can find.
it's sad too. The little girl, 2 years old, like that's really sad.
Very sad. And let's get to the actual murder of the person who did this.
Yeah, the guy.
Yeah, here we go. This is a good one. This is the news clip of it. They finally catch this guy. There we go.
Finally come to a close. Rex Heuermann, who was sentenced to life in prison without parole for the murder of 8 different women. The former architect and married father of 2, seen here in court today, admitted earlier this year to soliciting sex and strangling his victims before dumping their bodies across Long Island's South Shore between 1993 and 2010, so a 17-year period there. Today, we heard emotional impact statements from the families whose lives were torn apart by Heuermann's crimes. The sister of one victim telling him, "You don't have the humanity to feel any remorse."
I've talked to Sheriff Errol Toulon, who's overseen his detention the entire time he has been there, up until today when he'll be transferred. Even behind bars, no emotion. Arraignment, no emotion. And you're talking about somebody who had never spent a day in jail and has shown no emotion, no remorse, and has just been stoic at every single part of this process.
The notorious Gilgo Beach serial.
But here's the. I mean, we've done a bunch of cases, right? But let's be honest. Do any of these people have remorse?
They're psychopaths. Like these people, you cannot.
Married for 27 years, 2
have
kids,
them
this
be
area in
like
Long
us.
Island, Ocean.
You cannot put them in the
This
same
is Diana
category
Rose, and
with
here's the
same
T
person.
in 60. Do you believe that
It's
He has no remorse.
No remorse whatsoever. Like even in one of the things, he actually looks like he's laughing.
If you understand that by Kenny Gilby, you're waiving a number of very important
This
rights.
is right here.
Yes, you are.
Rex Heuermann, emotionless and shackled, waived his right to trial and confessed to the grisly murders of 7 women he was charged with killing. He also admitted to killing an 8th woman, Karen Vergata, a 34-year-old.
There's no.
He took a plea bargain. He didn't care.
You know what? I wish sometimes the plea bargains would be like not allowed.
I think they did that
In certain cases.
A lot of the times when they do plea bargains with serial killers, it's because they want to try to get as many of the victims as possible, find their remains, send them back to their parents or their family members for some type of closure. So I think that's where a lot of the plea bargains come from, especially when they have evidence, but they just don't have enough to pin it on them. They'll offer them a plea bargain to be like, okay, what about this person? Like, we have you for these 3, but we have these other 2. If you say that you did these and give us detail and where they're, we'll offer you this. And a lot of the times it works. And I'll be honest with you, these people don't care. They're not killing because they feel anything for that person. They're not like us. They don't care.
I know, but it just makes me so angry because there's no facial experience. Not like, you know what, I'm sorry I did this, because he was a father. He had kids. What if that happened to his kids?
I don't think he would have cared. I really don't. I think his life with his wife was an act. It was an act to, okay, I'm married, let me have kids, let me portray what I am not, because this is what I'm going to show the world, that I'm a normal man and I have a job and I have a wife and a kid. They will never, suspect me of doing this. In the interim, he's killing these people, and he's actually going through he's fulfilling what he wants to do. This is really who he is. And if you look at a lot of these serial killers, a lot of them have that. They have what we call, they live in two lives. They're giving the perception to, the community of what we feel, right? That's normal, that's acceptable, while they live a life that we don't accept, but that is who they are.
Yeah.
I know most of them don't cry. Most of them, they don't have that. A lot of them are sadistic. A lot of them are sociopaths. And a lot of them, if you look at what a psychopath is, 9 times out of 10, they're narcissistic. They almost go hand in hand with each other.
And then they found like 3 burner phones in his house. So how do they come and catch this guy? That's what I didn't understand. Where they caught him.
Sorry, on Thursday.
I'm trying to see. Let's see.
And he was a big guy too. He wasn't little.
No, this guy, he was not little at all. And let's see. Let's see what this one says. Let's see what this one says here. We'll watch it together. Here we go.
Burner phones, thousands of images, and a fantasy life he had been building for decades inside a family home. When investigators executed the search warrant on Rex Heuermann's Massapequa Park House in July 2023, what they discovered was not the home of a disturbed loner. It was the home of a man who had constructed an entirely separate psychological existence alongside his ordinary life. Burner phones registered to fake identities, dark web browsing history spanning years, a collection of material investigators described in court documents as deeply disturbing, evidence of a mind that had been feeding something for a very long time. His wife, Asa Ellerup, filed for divorce the day after his arrest. She told investigators she had no knowledge of any of it. Investigators believed her. 20 years of marriage, 3 children, a house full of people, and not one of them saw it. But the most disturbing detail was not what was found inside the house. It was what investigators found when they mapped his movements over 2 decades. Rex Heuermann attended community events, neighborhood gatherings. He spoke to journalists covering the Gilgo Beach case. He inserted himself into the story of his own crimes while victims' families held vigils 15 miles from his front door. He was not hiding. He was watching. How did Suffolk County Police miss this man for 13 years when his DNA was in their system? Nobody in power has answered that. That is part 3. Follow anomaly.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. I told you that he literally constructed that whole life. He did that so that it would keep people off of his trail while he lived his life killing people. That's what his ultimate goal was. But he obviously can't do it in broad daylight, right? He obviously can't look that way. So he has to construct something that the normal society would look at. Family, kids, puppy, picket fence. You know what I mean?
What a
And it worked.
Psychotic fucker. I'm sorry, but he's a psychotic fucker.
Yeah.
I how do you balance more than 2 things, because he was there participating in the community, trying to be this, Captain Save-A-Ho of this, like, and at the same time, he's got a wife, he's got kids, he's got all the, you know what I mean? Like, dude, like what? You know what? You will be careful out there. There's some crazy fuckers.
Well, and the fact that he inserted himself, he's narcissistic. He was playing cat and mouse, and that's part of being the sadistic side of him when he was calling the girl, right? Now he's inserting himself into the actual investigation. He's listening, he's watching, he's being there. It's a game. It's like, haha, catch me if you can, sucker.
Yeah.
I'm in your face and you're looking to the left. You know what I mean? It's a
Yeah.
game. It's all a mental game.
After all these years, they finally ended up catching him. He
Mm-hmm.
is serving a life, not a life sentence. He's serving more than one life sentence,
Mm-hmm.
I believe. And he is no chance of parole, from my understanding. He's there for quite for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
For the rest of his life, he'll be there.
Mm-hmm.
So, guys, go check out the documentary. Let me know what you think, and what your thoughts are. And if you got a story, whatever, let us know. This is a good story. This is a good one because it was good, but it was, man, the past two that we've done is just pissing me off.
They're not so cut and dry, huh?
I'm like, fuck, you know,
Mm-hmm.
because they've just got away with a lot of shit, and here you are. So
I think the last two kind of showed us the pitfalls of our Justice Department, right? The police officers, what they did and didn't do. I think it also showed us, you know, be it like it or not, these people are hella fucking smart.
yeah,
You know what I mean? We ain't gotta agree with what they do, but they are smart and they're very cunning. And it kind of showed us that in the last two.
not only that, I mean, they could be your neighbor. Like, this guy looks like he could be your neighbor. He
was
doesn't
an
look.
architect. He looks
Yeah.
boring as hell. Let's be real. He
Well,
don't.
and you know what? I always look at the eyes. I always look at the eyes, and the eyes always look darker to me when it's a serial killer. And the past two, I'm just like, the fuck?
Yeah, he looked like a regular schmegular Joe.
You know, you got the mom from the other one. You got the, you know, it's like, goddamn.
And I wouldn't be surprised. I really wouldn't be surprised if his wife was not, if she didn't have some type of shady background, like she didn't go through some type of trauma herself as a child.
Because, you know, as a wife, you know, when your man's like, you know what I mean? When your man's, women's
She's
intuition
meek.
is sorry, you know?
She
You
had
know.
to be meek. There's no way that she could be very strong in like verbalization, not strong like a person. Just there's no way that she could be very bold and forthcoming, like her personality. I don't think she's alpha female. I don't think she's you know, that type of personality. I believe that she's probably very submissive because she didn't question. An alpha female or anyone with a strong personality would have questioned certain things had they saw red. There's no way. There's no way he didn't draw some type of red flags. No way. There ain't nobody that smart. They always mess up, and I'm sure he was a little lazy. I mean, we're talking 2 decades, 17 years. They said. So
how could you not know? Like, you've got to clean your husband's office. You've got to, like.
Do you not see the bills that he had burner phones? Do you not realize what he's spending? He's been, I mean, obviously he did this. He didn't do it at your house, so he's been gone somewhere. Where was he? Like, there was no questioning. That's my point. If you were a very boisterous woman, you're gonna be like, "Hey, where were you?" "Oh, I was with the boys." "What boys?" Because he don't look like he plays poker. He don't, you know what I mean? It don't look like he going to the strip club. So like,
and I apologize. I had all my notes mixed up. I thought it wasn't a call girl, but it ended up being that some of them were. So I apologize for the beginning where I had all my notes mixed up. But yeah, as a wife, as a mom, I am that one that I go through everything.
Well,
you know what I mean? It's like, it's not that I don't trust, but it's like, oh, you're going out? Okay, who are you going out with? What you doing? Da-da-da.
It's
and
common.
Maybe it stems from my previous ex-husband, you know, that I went through. But yeah, no, I ask 100 questions, you know. Oh, you're gonna go home late? Why? Tell me, you know, ABCD. You better have answers right away, because otherwise, okay, I'm showing
But
up at
those are
your.
common questions. Like, if my boyfriend walked, where are you going? Who are you going with? How
Yeah.
long are you gonna be? What do you mean you're going? Like, those are common. I want to know why, because I'm concerned, not because I'm controlling. What about if something happens to you in the street and I get a call? Oh, by the way, do you know that so and so got hit by a car? What the hell's he doing there?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Or where is he? Or hey, this is your car and we can't identify who this person is. Well, I'm sorry, my car shouldn't be there. You sure that's my car? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's not that it's controlling or anything, but like you said, in case of an emergency, I know where to go to look for
yeah.
you, or I
there's
can.
some type of, I mean, come on now, some type of shooting, some bombing or whatever, and it's a mall and you're like, oh, he's not there. Come to find out, yeah, he's there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
So I don't know what this woman was living in, or what age, or I don't know, or maybe she was doing her own thing, knocking some boots behind his doors, and
maybe I honestly think she has some type of I think she was very passive.
yeah.
Very
Well,
passive, not asking questions. She's like, what do they call that? Like just very homely. Because he seemed very homely too. I don't think I mean, yeah, I'm pretty sure they argued or whatever, but I can't see him putting his fist through the wall. I can't see him being overly aggressive with her. I don't think he was. I think he kept that for his other life.
right? But then again, I mean,
Uh,
able to, see if I can find a video of her. I think this is. Let's see.
Plus, she had 3 kids.
Oh, I didn't know Peacock even also has a documentary. I did not know that. So, anybody watches it, please let me know. And how do you like it?
Yeah.
Let's see. All right, here. This is what she looks like. I don't know. This one's interesting.
But then again, that one girl said the 20-minute call, they're trying to kill me. Not him.
Yeah.
She said they are trying to kill me.
This is the episode on Peacock that they have this is the wife, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
You get to sit with a serial killer. What was the hardest part for you to hear?
Well, I put a wall.
What do you mean you put
She
a wall?
called him Mr. Heuermann. So his response was, "Oh, are we formal now, Mrs. Ellerup?"
Did you feel you were sitting across the table from a stranger?
No. When he started talking, he started feeling like that's the Rex I know. But I didn't want to see that one. I wanted to see the one I needed to see.
Paint a picture for us of what it was like to walk into that room.
He looked very nervous, very, very nervous. And I said to him, "So, Mr. Heuermann, I understand that you are confessing to me on these murders. Can you please tell me how many of these women did you kill?" He said 8.
8? Was there any hesitation when he said 8?
No, he just told me the answer. He said he killed 8 women.
8.
8.
Who was the 8th? Because he's charged with 7.
I didn't ask.
He sat and told you he killed 8.
He said I wasn't home during all of them.
Were any of them killed in the house?
He said yes, they were killed in his room downstairs. All except one.
See? There's no way she didn't know.
How could I'm
She
telling
chose
you?
not to know.
How could you not know? How? There's no way. I mean, my mom knows that if I move a towel from the bathroom just an inch over from that bar, she knows I've been in her. You've been in my restroom. You know what I mean? Like, you can't tell me you don't. I don't believe that.
Suspect. There's. Mm-mm.
I just don't believe that.
Mm-mm. You don't suspect anything?
Or the smell in your house. I mean, come on.
Like cleaner, I'm sure he had to use cleaner, right?
It's something. But you're telling me you absolutely 100% did not know that your man, like, it doesn't make sense.
Mm.
That doesn't make sense. Sorry, but it doesn't. Because, I mean, I know
Well,
that.
then she said that he told her you weren't home for all of them.
So, where
So
the fuck
that
were
means,
you?
right. So my thing was, okay, so you weren't home for all of them, but that tells me you were home for some of them. So how did it happen that you were around and didn't know?
Yeah. But the one thing I found odd is where he's like, where she calls him by his name.
Yeah.
That was
That's
kind of
her
weird.
way of, yeah, that's her way of separation.
So,
Detachment. If she can detach and dehumanize him with no feelings, then she doesn't have to sit there and get emotional. She's not all there either, and you can tell.
oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's not all
No.
there. Mm-mm.
But she had to know. There's no way. I'm sorry. You know if
Yes,
something's moved in your kitchen, you know if someone's moved something in your room, you know that, you know, in your laundry room, someone moves your laundry detergent, or if you don't have any more, bleach, fabuloso, whatever you want to call your clean your house, all of a sudden your man's cleaning your house that he's never done before, like he's mopping the floors, you know what I mean?
Well, and then that's the thing too, because in her own words, right? How many? They asked her how many did he kill. She said 8. He told me 8. When I asked him, Mr. So and So, how many people? How many women did you kill? He said 8. And the guy said, "Well, wait a minute. He's only convicted for 7. Who was the 8?" She said, "I don't know. I didn't ask." That tells me you didn't ask him anything, even
Mhm.
before this. You never questioned him.
Yeah.
And why? Why wouldn't you question someone? Because let's just say, hypothetically, if you did have an inkling, then you wouldn't get in trouble for something you don't know about. There's a
Right?
word for it, and I can't think of it. There's a word for it, but I can't think of it at the moment.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about. But yeah,
Yeah.
so it's a weird story, but she's weird just like he is, and I don't know,
Oh
maybe
yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. For
uh,
sure.
and the fact that she filed for divorce um right after he got arrested.
Yes, and I'm pretty sure
So,
because she knew. She knew. She just didn't ask him. She didn't want to know the details. She just didn't want to be involved with it. So she didn't ask.
yeah.
But she had a suspicion of it. That's why when they arrested him, she divorced him. That was all she needed to know. That's
That was
all
it.
she needed to know. And when she asked him, Mr. So and so, they're saying that you killed these women. Did you kill these women? How many of them did you kill?
Yep. Thank you so much for the hearts you guys are sending over there on YouTube. Thank you so much.
Up to that. How
We
come I can't
appreciate
see
it.
it? Let me see.
I have it over here looking on the other screen, but it won't show us up here for some reason. I don't
Okay.
know.
Shout out.
Sometimes we don't even get the comments that come in, but thank you everybody for joining us. So this is a crazy story. So thank you, Bree, for bringing another crazy, fucked up story that's
I have my moments. I have my moments.
what can I say?
Hey.
But thank you everyone for joining us. We will be back next week with another interesting story. And if you guys see this story on Peacock or Netflix, leave us a comment. Let us know what you think, what your opinions are on it. If you think the same way we do, I'd like to know if you guys think the same we do. Because I mean, me and Brie, sometimes we think fucked up shit.
Right. Oh,
these
what
are
did
some-
we miss? Did we miss something? A piece of the puzzle?
yeah.
No.
Definitely, because we watch it and we do our research, but sometimes by the time Friday hits, we've got a day or two that we're off. So, but please let us know if there's something we missed, something that we need to go into more detailed. Maybe there's a story you want us to go more in depth. Let us know. We'd greatly appreciate it. Thank you for another wonderful night, Bree. always fun having you on, and it's always fun doing these podcasts with you. Because boy, these past two have been so fucked up.
That's what you left baby alone in the corner, so that's what we get.
You know?
But yes,
So.
this has been fun. It's always fun doing these deep dives, and I love seeing your perspective on things as well. So that's what I like about this.
Yes. So we will see you guys all next Friday, same time, same place. And I hope everybody has a wonderful evening.
Absolutely.
So peace out, everyone.
Bye.
Bye. And